Hey, also, a few folks reached out to me and asked about how I used Apple Vision Pro to design the interior of my house. So, in this video, I'll dive a little bit deeper to give you an understanding of how this app works and what are the techniques I've used. So, we recently bought this house and we are in the process of doing its interior. Right now, you can see that it's completely empty. We've been working with interior designers and they have been sending us these 2D renders, and it is really hard to figure out how the space will actually look and feel when it's completely done. Now, when you're designing an interior for your home, it's a very emotional process. It's also a very expensive process that takes a lot of time. So I decided if I model the house in Blender and see it on an Apple Vision Pro, it will make me confident about our design decision. Now let me show you this app that I have made to visualize the interior of my house. So this model is 1:1 scale, but there is this problem where the walls are not aligned. This is not perfectly overlaid on top. You can see that I'm waving my hand, but it's not actually hitting the real wall in the house. To solve for this, I had to figure out how I can align the virtual house with the real world house. So I'm doing this with a technique called 3-point triangulation. In my Reality Composer Pro project, I have marked 3 cubes, red, green, and blue, at specific positions in the model. Now in my app, I can simply enable alignment mode and align these 3 spheres to their matching colored cubes. You can also notice that I have restricted the movement of the spheres to the XZ plane. This is mainly because the 3 marker cubes in my model are on the floor plane. The way the alignment works is when I press the align button, the virtual model's red, green, and blue cubes are aligned where the spheres are, and then the root of the home is moved at the right spot relative to these red, green, and blue cubes, and that aligns the house perfectly. After that, I simply go to the main UI of the app and press Align Virtual Home, and that completes the alignment of the virtual home with the real world space. Now let me show you the magic of what we just did. This virtual wall and the physical wall is actually perfectly aligned. Let's try walking to the other wall and see if it's perfectly aligned too, and it is. Now, because our virtual model is perfectly aligned, you can see the real world through the cutouts in our model. So here you can see that it's not a skybox outside. Those are real trees that sway with the wind. So what is actually the real benefit of doing this? See, this really gives you the idea of how the space will look and feel when it's actually done before it's built. So now, if you put a couch over here that's this big, you'll have a good idea how much space you'll have. If you sit on that couch, it's a virtual couch, you'll get an idea of how big a 75-inch TV would look here. And you will not get that idea from 2D images. Okay, so next I'm really trying to improve the realism of this. So I am playing with materials, like for example here in the Mandir, I have created a material in Reality Composer that has fluted glass by using a normal map. And you can look at on the coffee table, if you use PBR materials, the metalness on the coffee table is very apparent. So there's a lot of play that can be done in Blender over here to make it look super nice and realistic. Let me also show you how this is helpful when you're doing civil work or demolitions in the house. So I'm going to knock off this wall and this door over here in the real world house and going to extend it into a bigger dining room. So that's the plan over here. So I can actually visualize how it will look after it's done. You can see that the alignment is very good. I'm walking inside the house with my headset on without bumping into anything. Just imagine how valuable something like this is for interior designers. They can put a client in a headset, show them multiple design iterations, have them align on one without having to do this constant back and forth on 2D renders. This will save a lot of time and money. This can also reduce the iteration cycle of building and demolishing and rebuilding things if your client doesn't like it. Because now they've seen it in 3D, there's a very good likelihood that they like when it's built. I also wanted to show you one interesting thing. I can actually open this glass door that's in my real home. I can walk out in the patio and I can see what's outside. So you can see the beautiful view of nature right from a virtual model. So that's like blending real and virtual. Okay, so here's why doing something like this is very important, right? So you can see that now I can see that the couch of this size will be too big for my space. And if I put a chair over here, it will actually come in my way. And I cannot take the stool out of the mandir, so it blocks the way. So you can now really get good idea of how much space things take and how you can move in the house. You cannot get this from 2D renders. Something like this on the Vision Pro really helps you to internalize this. Experiencing a space at full scale before construction changes how decisions are made. This is the kind of real world problem spatial computing is uniquely suited to solve.